You can't sit around waiting for what you want. You have to take it. You have to take it. Hey guys, and welcome back to another episode of If I May Speak Candidly, where we dive into the craziness of the wrestling world from the comfort of my domain. I know if you're anything like me, you are still reeling in the Royal Rumble from last night. There was a lot of surprises, a lot of surprise returns, a lot of surprise wins, a lot of surprise appearances. There was a lot of surprises, and honestly, this Royal Rumble was one of my personal favorite Royal Rumbles. On top of that, we'll be talking about all the things that happened this week, including Jordan Grace signing with WWE, Malachi Black, WWE bound. I don't know. They say that he is, but we just have to wait and see. Thought we would see him last night, but you know, his wife was there, so that's always good. Um, and all the other things that had happened this week. So if you are watching, please like, subscribe, share, and leave a comment down below. And let's get to these topics. So, the first thing that I want to talk about, or the first topic that I want to talk about, is the promo between CM Punk and Cody Rhodes on this past Monday Night Raw on Netflix. I think we're finally getting it, y'all. For all of those who wanted to see Cody Rhodes become the heel that we know and love, I think it's finally happening. I watched that promo at least 3 times, and each time you could see the frustration, the pressure building up behind Cody's eyes. Like, if you look deep enough, you can see that the character he portrays, the good guy that he has been portraying himself as, is starting to wane a little bit. Now, a lot of people say that Cody is a better heel than anything. Um, of course, I shared my thoughts on another podcast, so shout out to the guys there if you are watching. Um, what if Cody has been pretending to be a good guy all the time? What if Cody has been using this moment to say, hey, this is what the face of WWE should look like. This is what the face of WWE should be doing. Like, I want to do everything that Roman wasn't doing. I want to be traveling. I want to be kissing babies and shaking hands and taking pictures and having a perfect smile, and everything about me is perfect, and can no one uh break me out of this character of what I am supposed to be. And maybe, you know, the pressure of being someone that he is truly not is taking a toll on him. Maybe that's the case. Another thought I thought of is maybe there's a curse on the undisputed championship belt. Maybe every person who holds that belt is bound to become corrupted, you know? Can't help but to think of the person that Roman was before he got the title, before he carried the title. He genuinely became worse as the years gone by, the longer he held the title. It's the same thing like with Jimmy, when Jimmy interrupted or interfered in Jay's match when he was up for the title, and Jimmy said, look, brother, I don't want you to have that title. It's going to change you. You've seen what it done to Roman. It's going to happen to you. And maybe that is what's going on with Cody. Maybe this belt is changing him. On top of Kevin being the one that's kind of, you know, helping that side of Cody to come out, but what if holding this title is the reason why Cody is fighting the urges of, you know, not being that guy? It's very possible. It's very possible that this is what is going on. But um like I said, that promo I think was put CM Punk in the ring on a mic against anyone, and it's going to be one of his best promos. I felt the same way when it was him and Seth. I felt the same when it was him and Drew. Him and Cody, it was very emotional, but CM Punk still told him the way it is. Like, hey, look, listen, you don't have to worry about me stabbing you in the back because I'm gonna stab you in the front. I'm gonna take the title. I'm telling you, this is what's gonna happen. So you don't have to worry about me pretending to be anything. And of course, you could kind of see that Cody knew that CM Punk was telling the truth. Like, he's not going to stab me in the back. He wants this title. He is going to, he's going to tell me what he's going to do, and then he's going to do it. Um, of course, then Friday night SmackDown, CM Punk had another promo off, so to speak, with Kevin Owens, and you know, I can see what the writers is doing. The writers is giving us all these different possible main events at WrestleMania. You know, but this is all before Royal Rumble, so of course, this promo, it could have went either way. We could have had Kevin Owens and CM Punk at WrestleMania, but now we know that CM Punk lost at the Royal Rumble and Kevin lost at the Royal Rumble too. So if these two do decide to have a match off with each other, it might not necessarily be for the title. But again, I would get to the Royal Rumble afterwards, but I just thought that the foundation is cracking when it comes down to Cody. His kingdom is crashing all around him. And I've been screaming from the rooftop that I wanted Cody to turn heel. I feel like this turn will solidify his position in the WWE Hall of Fame in the future. But that wasn't the only reason why. I felt that people clearly see Cody as a one trick pony. And I know that there is such a. Cody is an onion. There's a lot of layers to him, there's a lot of layers to the Cody Rhodes character, the American Nightmare. And when you think of American Nightmare, you're not necessarily thinking of a good person, you know? So, um, I honestly can't wait to see where they go with this. Again, I enjoyed both promos. Um, but we will have to see. We will definitely have to see now. I like that leading up the road to WrestleMania is going to be an exciting one because clearly we can see that there are different roads to WrestleMania, and what we may have thought was going to happen the end of the year, what we may have thought was going to happen before the Royal Rumble, and what we may think is going to happen now that the Royal Rumble has passed can be totally different than what we see at WrestleMania come April. So again, I'm enjoying what they're doing. I'm enjoying that they are not necessarily they're not making it easy for us, like we are playing a game of Clue. Okay, we are playing a game of what's going to happen, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it. So let's just see what happens next. So for the next topic, I it wasn't something that I initially had scheduled to talk about, but it happened. So of course I had to laugh um because, anytime I've been proven right, whether I get the credit or not, um I'm gonna remind people. So last night during the Royal Rumble, there was a tag team match for the title against with DIY versus Machine Motor City Machine Gun. Yeah, MCMG. And it was a 2 out of 3 falls match. So there were some people that was really excited to see the match. A lot of people thought it was kind of boring. I watched the match. I'll admit I wasn't like naturally excited for the match, but I did watch it and I thought the match was really good. Um, but of course, the big moment of the match was when the Street Profits came out, attacked both Motor City Machine Guns as well as DIY, and said that they was coming back for their stuff. They was coming back with vengeance, okay? They said, look, it's the first day of Black History Month and we're coming back for our reparations. And they did exactly what I've wanted them to do. You can't sit around waiting for what you want. You have to take it. You have to take it. And that's what they did. They sent the message. They sent the message to both tag teams that we're not dead. We're here and we're going to come back for our titles. Now, with that to the side, my the biggest thing that I got out of it was the play on that they did on the dirt sheet websites. Um Now before the Royal Rumble, a lot of the dirt sheet websites had shared that Dawkins was seen with crutches. They didn't know what injury he had suffered from. They just saw him with crutches and therefore just thought that he was injured. Excuse me. So they knew that Dawkins was in town. Wherever you see Dawkins, Montez is not too far. And they ran with that story that Dawkins was injured because they saw him with crutches. Ironically, the crutches that he was seen with is the crutches that he used because he is not injured. So they both posted very direct shots at the dirt sheets. Montez on his Instagram, Dawkins on his Twitter account, and it brings me back to my original point. Dirt sheets are becoming obsolete. Okay? It's right here, right there on the bottom. Dirt sheets are becoming obsolete. And what I meant when I wrote that article, which was almost a year ago, was that the dirt sheets have ran its course. You know, they any when I grew up as a kid, you didn't know the ins and outs of what was going on backstage. You ain't know who was sleeping with who. You didn't know who was bound to get fired. You didn't know whose contract wasn't being renewed. You didn't know who had just left one company to go to another. You didn't know those things. It was a surprise. You saw one person on one show, whether it was ECW or WCW at the time, and then the next thing you know, you see them in WWE, or vice versa. You see them in WWE, they have their match, they disappear for a few weeks. Next thing you know, they in WCW. Like these are the things that used to be of the norm. You found out in real time with everyone else. And a lot of these websites have became like TMZ. You know, they want to be the first one to break the news. They want to be the first one with the clicks. And I get it. That's how you make your money. But I love that it now seems as though Triple H, the PR at WWE, and the higher ups who are privy to this information has now found a formula to use these websites to their advantage without things being spoiled. And what they'll do is they will feed them information. They will play on different scenes like the Drew, the Drew McIntyre having a complete crash out backstage after his elimination at the Royal Rumble. Um, just different things that they know that these websites is going to run. And the sad thing about it is these websites don't know if it's true or not. They just want to be the first one to break other stories. They just want to be the first ones to get it out there. And you don't care if it's real or not. You don't care if it's true. And now, now you have these wrestlers calling you out on the bullshit. They're calling you out on these stories that are clearly not true just for the sake of, you know, to make you look stupid. And it was bound to happen anyway because overall, as I said, the websites, the dirt sheet websites have ruined stuff when it comes down to surprises, returns, contract negotiations. I feel like a lot of these websites have put a lot of these wrestlers in bad positions to where they can't get out of their contracts or they can't leave the companies that they want to leave or they want to negotiate for more money or whatever the case may be. A lot of these people who want to get out and do different things, um, their plans are ruined because why? Higher ups in these companies are going on these websites. So there's a good and a bad when it comes down to these websites, but without continuing on a tangent, it just appears that WWE has found their motive or a means to the madness. Like I can't get rid of the websites, but I'm gonna use them the way I want to use them. And if they want to be a part of what we got going on, then we're going to use them to feed storylines. You're going to use them to uh throw the other competition, other promotions off, whatever the case may be. But I thought it was really interesting that both Dawkins and Montez kind of called the dirt sheets out last night. Rightfully so. Uh, bring back real journalism, bring back real journalistic integrity. I thought that was kind of funny that Joe, I can't pronounce your last name, so I'm not even going to attempt to desecrate your name, good sir. But I thought it was very interesting that you did call out Kevin Owens for trying to um, come for your journalistic integrity. And a lot of people don't have it, but I do appreciate you for having yours, sir. Big ups to you. I hope one day, uh, I do get a chance to meet you and shake your hand and tell you that you're doing a fine job in the WWE. Preferably, I would prefer to do it as a co-worker. Hmm. Well, we'll see. But I think yeah, I think dirt sheets are definitely going obsolete. Good luck to those that are still sticking around. You're being played. Uh uh Definitely kudos to those that do practice some type of integrity when it comes down to their reportings, I think you will definitely have a more longevity when it comes down to um, being relevant in wrestling media. But to be completely honest, and this is just a prediction, um, it's going to be very hard for these smaller brands to be in the press conferences when it comes down to WWE anyway. And I don't think that's on WWE 10. I think that's just the way it's going to be when it comes down to TKO and Netflix. I just don't think unless you're Sports Illustrated, Yahoo, Men's Journal, Complex, um, Forbes, New York Post, unless you are of those bigger brands, bigger publications, you're just not going to have too much luck. So, um, I guess enjoy while it lasts. So for the third topic, I can't help but to think of TNA and now the partnership between TNA and WWE that is really starting to flourish. Um, this past week we had Miss Cora Jade on TNA. She's really eyeballing Marsha Slamovich for her TNA Knockout Championship. It'll be really interesting if you have a WWE superstar win a TNA title. Not to say that that will be bad. I think it will actually be good. In fact, I would love to see more main roster people pop up on TNA. Like, can you imagine? You're sitting there, you're watching TNA, you see the screen goes black, crowd is in anticipation because somebody's coming. This has to be big. It's a big grand entrance. And then you hear, "Burn it down!" Right? Like, then you hear that. And the crowd is going crazy. He comes out, the drip god, in his finest duds. And then he calls somebody out from TNA. Like, I would love to see some of the main roster people show up. Maybe a John Cena, a CM Punk. Like, if I saw CM Punk on TNA, do you know how much the viewership will spike on a Richter scale? Can you imagine how many people will tune in to TNA every week if they knew that a main roster WWE superstar was going to pop up on TNA? Like, it needs to happen. It needs to happen. Triple H, Papa H, pull the trigger. Because you did last night. You did last night when you let my man, Joe Hendry, the TNA heavyweight champion, come and participate in the Royal Rumble. Did you hear the chants? Did you hear the cheers? Did you hear people singing his song? Like, he probably got just as big, or maybe even bigger, of a pop than Alexa Bliss when she came out. You know? And for all of those who have called Joe a flash in the pan, Mr. 15 minutes is up. His time is up. I'm gonna need y'all to watch that clip again. Okay? Y'all need to watch that clip again. That clip definitely said that man is more pushed than anybody else right now. And he is not even a WWE superstar. He is a TNA star. And he got a bigger pop than most of the actual WWE stars that was in the match. So I am enjoying this partnership between them two. Now, is it true that at one point they wanted Tony Khan to buy to buy TNA? Maybe. I don't know. I mean, I've seen people say it. I don't know the details behind it, but obviously he decided against it. And you know what? I'm glad he did. I'm glad he did. Can you imagine what he would have done with TNA? No, sir. You need to handle the two promotions that you have right now. Okay? ROH is DOA. It's DOA. Go on and resuscitate it or put it in the ground. You know, one or two things. You got to do something. But I am glad because, things work out the way it's supposed to. And the fact that he didn't buy TNA or he didn't, really, he thought TNA was lesser than or whatever. I don't know. I don't know. Don't take my word for it. But what I will say is this: TNA is bound to become number two. Right now, when you think of wrestling in the orders of those that are important, you think of WWE, AEW, TNA, and on down to New Japan Pro Wrestling, MLW, GCW, and all the others as they come. If WWE continues to utilize TNA the way they have been, allowing their NXT superstars to go there, allowing TNA stars to go to NXT, and then they end up breaking the mold and letting the TNA stars go pop up on Raw, pop up on SmackDown, and vice versa, having someone like a Seth Rollins, having someone like a Drew McIntyre, having someone like a maybe the bloodline, a Jacob Fatu, maybe a Jimmy Uso, uh, even Jay. Have them pop up on TNA just once. Just once. I promise you, TNA will go from number three to number two. TNA will be the number two, and that will be of no fault but of Tony's, because you you have there's still so much that you can do to turn things around. You can really turn things around, and you are so focused on being petty and so focused on being spiteful that you are cutting your own self at the knees. So, if you hear it anywhere, just remember, excuse me, the devil don't like the truth. But if you hear it from anywhere else, just remember you heard it from me first. TNA is on its way to being the number two wrestling promotion. And if that is the case, well, that's just how the cookie crumbles. But right now, AEW is still in the running, and they still a runner up. So, just do what you gotta do. You know what I'm saying? Do what you gotta do. And don't ask me what happened on Collision because I don't know. I didn't watch it. So for the fourth and final topic, the Royal Rumble. And there was a lot of things that happened at the Royal Rumble. Of course, like I said, the surprise return of Alexa Bliss, despite the fact that the dirt sheet said that she and WWE was in a tiffy. Okay, they was not getting along. Alexa Bliss wanted way more money than they was willing to give her, and therefore she wasn't gonna be there. But she showed up. She showed up, and that was the most beautiful surprise of that night, at least for the women's Royal Rumble. So good to have you back, girl. Of course, we had Nikki Bella, which, like I said, Nikki Bella said that she was interested in coming back. Brie also said, well, they both said that they both was ready to come back. But Nikki made her a return last night. Don't know if this is a if this is a permanent thing, if this is a one-up thing. Only time would tell, but I'm more than certain that Nikki will be back for more matches. I mean, she looked good. She handled Roxanne. Um, she looked really good. So, hey Nikki girl, like looking for you to come back on a more permanent basis maybe. Um of course the Queen Charlotte, she looked good in all her red. Little Miss, uh maybe not Little Miss, but definitely she was giving Red Riding Hood vibes. She came in, she looked like the Queen of Hearts. She came in, she did her ones, her twos, and she ended up winning the Royal Rumble. Then, of course, we had some other things like Jordan Grace popping up, Miss, I'm not gonna be there. I'm gonna be celebrating my mommy's birthday. And I was like, yeah, okay, girl, whatever. See you on Saturday. And sure enough, she was there. Now, Jordan didn't hold back. She didn't hold back. She handled whoever it was that came in her path. But with that said, there was a scene. There was a scene between Jordan Grace and Naomi. They were so happy to see each other. They gave each other a big hug. Hey, girl. Hey, I missed you so much. Welcome to the right side of right side of history, girl. Welcome back. But then Bianca came, and Bianca grabbed a head full of Jordan Grace hair. But it wasn't just a regular hair pull, okay? And for those who know, it wasn't a regular hair pull. It's the fact that she grabbed her hair and then she pointed her finger like, uh, and that's when I said, did it. Bianca, you did it. You took Jade out. I don't know what it was. It was a sense of possession. It was the sense of possession that she had over Naomi, that I said, you did it. You did it. You did it. You took Jade out. So, if it pans out that Bianca took Jade out, yeah, girl, you got a 5'11" muscular powerhouse that's gonna be coming for you, girl. And then you got Jordan Grace. She gonna be waiting for you outside too, girl. So, but I'm liking this. I'm liking what is building up to. So, yeah, about Bianca, girl, like you was a little tripping there. I get it, but yeah. Um, but definitely, the women's, they did their big one. Surprise, congratulations to um all of the NXT women that were there. Julia, Stephanie Valkyr, um, Lash Legend, Roxanne, and of course, Miss Parker, Miss Jada Parker. I mean, this was a very big moment for all of those women. They finally get a chance to be in a ring. One of the four uh staple PLEs of WWE, and you get the opportunity to be called up to be in this match with women who has fought tooth and nail to be in that position. And I know for the likes of all those women, Lash, Roxanne, Julia, Stephanie, and Jada. I know that they all took that moment and they really embraced it. And I'm really glad that they had as many um NXT women there. Now they didn't do all too much for the men's Royal Rumble. I would have loved to have seen Trick and Carmelo go at it. I would have loved to have seen Obafemi in there. I would have loved to have seen Ethan Page. Um, like there was quite a few people that I would have loved to have seen in the men's Royal Rumble, but it's all good because um it did what it was supposed to do. We started off with Ray and Penta. That was a really awesome little setup that led us to the likes of Jacob Fatu, of course, my man, Joe Hendry coming out, and Sheamus just watching him in awe. And I was like, yeah, Sheamus, that's me. I do the exact same thing. When he's wrestling, I just stand there in awe too. Um, but listen, I'll admit, when I thought Roman was coming out, I thought Roman was going to get jumped. They couldn't touch Roman. They couldn't. Roman was just sitting there yeeting people over the top rope. One of them being my man, Joe Hendry. Now, I'm sorry. I know I'm wearing your shirt. Okay. Yes, you are my tribal chief. But when it comes down to you and Joe Hendry and y'all two ever meet up, which I know it will, because one thing for certain and two things for sure, you're not going to put two people in a match like the Royal Rumble to have a moment and y'all don't run that back at some time in the future. This is how WWE operates. And the fact that Bianca eliminated Jordan last year and she had that little run up with her this year, I know that there will be something in the future between Joe and the other Joe, Roman Reigns, in the future. So I'll be looking forward to that as well. Jacob being eliminated as early as he was, that was a shocker to me. I was surprised. I think I was just as surprised as he was surprised. And he kind of had like a Brock Lesnar crash out. Which was kind of funny because I feel you, bro. I definitely feel you. Surprised that Solo was not in the Royal Rumble. Uh, but I guess it all worked out the way it was supposed to. The biggest upset was CM Punk getting eliminated again. That was the biggest upset for me. Like that genuinely pissed me off. And it wasn't even so much of the fact that he was eliminated, it was who he was eliminated by. Yeah. Like if y'all have any plans, and I really don't want to see it, but if y'all have any plans on setting him up with Logan Paul, please, please cancel those plans. Okay, cancel those plans, cancel that flight. Okay, refund them people their money. Please don't do it. Please don't do it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to see my goat, the Chicago mayor, go up against that lane. I don't want to see it. I just please miss me with it. Um, I thought Kai Cenat and I Show Speed was supposed to have a little moment. Um, they didn't, but I Show Speed did have a moment with Braun Breaker, who tried his best to split that boy in half. He speared him so hard. I know he suffered some type of internal injuries. And if that wasn't enough, then he yeeted him at Otis, who then threw him through a table. And yeah, that was the end of him. So um rest in peace, I Show Speed. Then, I'm not remembering things in order, but I'm remembering things as they pop up. Um, the double elimination between Seth and Roman. Now, these two, they were more like brothers than anything else because that double elimination was that was funny. Um, you could tell they first of all, let's go back to that moment where you just had the perfect camera angle of Roman standing behind Seth, and he just burning a hole in the back of Seth's head, and Seth can feel the heat in the back of his head, and he just know somebody is staring a hole in his head, and and then they just like they met up in the middle of the ring, and I said yes, yes. That's what we want at WrestleMania. That's what we want at WrestleMania. Don't do that elimination chambers. It's too early. Set that up for WrestleMania. Throw Roman on Raw, and just have them to just build a story. Build a story on the history of their fallout, how they was together. Have some moments where they actually share some of the good times that they had and then the bad times that they had, and just build that up to something so enormous that it has to happen at WrestleMania, and then let them to fight it out to the bitter end and then go their separate ways, because there's a lot of built up animosity, years of just tension built up between them two. And it's more than I was is even though there's a history there with Seth and CM Punk, there Seth and Roman were brothers. And they have to fight this out. They have to get it out their system. So I'm hoping that that is definitely one of the Royal Rumble matches. Also, I forgot to mention the Nia Jax elimination um, moment where she eliminated five women in one shot. Nia, you are a legend for that, girl. You are a legend for that. That was such a beautiful, beautiful spot. Um, and it showed Naya's dominance without her like it still showed her dominance even though she did not win. So definitely liked that one. Don't have to talk about the tag team because of course, I already shared that earlier when I was talking about the dirt sheets, but we're going to talk about the undisputed championship match, the ladder match between Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. Not really going to try to repeat all too much because I already said that earlier in the episode as well. But of course, Cody won. Cody won. Um, you could definitely see something in him has changed, or maybe he's starting to be more of himself. Maybe he's starting to be more Cody, you know? Um, do I think it's over between Cody and Kevin? No, I don't think Kevin is done with Cody yet. He's going to sit down and think about the things that he have done, but he's going to get mad and end up coming back and come for Cody again. So, it's only a matter of time. It might be something set up at Elimination Chambers, which is in March. So we will see. Um, But yeah, I think like I said, I think Cody is definitely starting to show his true colors, you know. And furthermore, I would love to see how Randy is going to fit in this mix, because I do feel like Randy is still um a major player in this game. And this is the year of the snake, and Randy is known as the Viper. So I am more than certain that this will be Randy's year as well. Just in what type of dynamics, is he going to be after Cody for the title? Or are we going to get a run up with him and John Cena one last time? Um, what plans do they have for Randy? I don't know, but any feuds that Randy gets involved in is going to be made for TV. So definitely looking out for that. So thanks guys for tuning in. Like I said, the Royal Rumble was great. A lot of stuff was going on in the wrestling world this week, but since I usually record the shows towards the end of the week, a lot of the news is kind of old anyway. So I'm, you know, I'm working on sticking to more relevant things, unless it is something that I really have strong opinions on, and I will then share it. But overall, I try to stay up to date as possible with the news. So if you are seeing this, if you stuck around to this part of the episode, thank you very much. Please like, share, and subscribe. Leave a comment down below. We're close to 100, y'all. Very grateful for that. Um, of course, you can find me on my socials at Megan Ambers on Instagram, and I am Megan Ambers on Twitter. And yes, the column will be coming back soon. For those who don't know, like, this podcast stems from a wrestling column that I started early last year. Just wanting to share the things that I wanted to talk about when it came down to um what was going on in the wrestling world and things of that nature. So I created the column and saw that, somebody just said, you know what, this is too good to not be a podcast. So here I am. Um, but yes, that will be starting up soon. Also, guys, do remember that I am a WWE Shop affiliate, so the link will be in the description box down below. Buy something nice. It is Black History Month. Support your fellow Black wrestlers. Um, Buy something for yourself for Black History Month. And I will catch you all next week. Thank you. And